Y'all, check out how soft this bread is. This is my brand new gluten-free multigrain seeded bread, and it is made with my brand new multigrain gluten-free bread flour blend. Look at all the seeds and the grains in this bread. It is just incredible, you guys. It's hearty but soft at the same time. It's so good. Let's get into it. So we start by making a seed soaker, and you can vary this and kind of customize it to what you'd like to put in here. I am using flax seeds. I've got sunflower seeds. This is golden flax meal. You do need some form of a meal in there, and I explain why in the recipe post. I'm also using raw pumpkin seeds and some oats, and this is millet, whole millet, and this is whole teff, not the teff flour, but the whole teff grain. And to this, I am adding near boiling, very hot water, and I'm just going to cover this and let it sit. All it needs is about 10 to 15 minutes while I'm putting the rest of the bread ingredients together. So we set this aside and let it soak. That's why it's called soaker. And in no time, it's going to soak everything up. So what I'm doing now is not what I normally do with psyllium husks. I am pre-soaking the psyllium husks. And the reason I'm doing it for this particular recipe, you do not have to do this. But the reason I'm doing it for this one is I really wanted to see if I could make this bread all in one day. And if you pre-soak the whole psyllium husks or the psyllium husk powder, whichever you're using, I prefer whole psyllium husks, it will allow you to do it all in one day. So now I'm taking the rest of the water from the recipe and I'm adding it to my new multigrain flour blend that's already in my bowl. And this is olive oil. And a little bit of honey. This is kind of a riff on my original artisan bread dough. So this is yeast and salt. And we get this on the mixer and add the soaked psyllium husks. And we'll blend this for about 2 to 2.5 minutes, like the halfway mark of what I usually say the 5-minute kneading process. So while that's mixing, we'll go ahead and take a look at our soaker. And what we're looking for is to make sure that there is no water underneath any of the grains, and there is not. Everything has completely soaked up, so we are ready to add this to our dough. You definitely want to soak any of your grains, seeds, nuts, whatever you're using before you add it to your dough, especially for gluten-free bread making, because otherwise it will soak up extra water in the dough and your bread will be very dry. So get all of that goodness in there. And like I said, you can vary your nuts / seed / grain mixture however you want. These are what I had in my house at the time I was doing this, so that's what I used. But again, if you like a particular nut or seed more than the other, then use it. And of course, as always, you will find the link for the recipe with all of the amounts and everything in the description box below the video. So we're done kneading this with the mixer now. We'll scrape that and then scrape this into a mound like I always do with my bowl scraper. And we're going to cover this and let it rise for roughly 2 hours or until doubled in size. It depends on the warmth of your rising location though. This is one I already had going, and I wanted to show you how jiggly it is after and how much it rose up. So now with the psyllium husks, you do not have to put this in the fridge. You can start working on it right away. It is a little looser. I actually put mine in the fridge for about 2 hours. So this was all done within 1 day. This entire loaf of bread was done within 1 day. So once it's kneaded, I'm shaping this particular one into a bowl, but you can shape it into whatever you'd like. You can do like a baguette, a batard, an Italian loaf, 2 smaller loaves, whatever you want. There really is no limit into what shape you want to do this in. So now what I'm doing is I'm pouring some of my seeds. These were sunflower and pumpkin seeds. And I'm just spraying the loaf with a little bit of vegetable oil spray and putting some of the seeds on the outside. There's probably an easier way to do this, and I think that's probably like roll the dough or something in it, but I just kind of sprinkled them on top and kind of pressed them onto the top and the bottom. It kind of denotes what's actually in the bread itself. All done. So for this, I'm going to put it on a sheet of parchment, and this is going to go in my Dutch oven after it proofs and just becomes puffy. It doesn't need to double in size by no means, but I have my Dutch oven preheating in my oven, which is set at 500 degrees. So once this is done proofing, it can go right in. So this is nice and puffed. It's not like doubled in size, like I said. And I'm going to score it real quick. Couple of strikes through just to get a nice score in there, like about a 1/2 inch deep. And this is super, super, super hot. So please be careful when you're doing this. As you can see from all the steam, you're going to get lots of steam in there. I do like the Dutch oven method, but sometimes I like to just use my pizza steel and do it just right on the pizza steel. So lower that in there and then put the lid back on, and you'll get it into the oven and it will go in. You'll drop the oven down to 450, let it go for 40 minutes, remove the cover and let it go for another 20 minutes. And this is what you end up with. This, I'm telling you, this is probably out of all the breads I have made on my blog, this might be my favorite. I love like hearty seeded breads, and this does not disappoint. If you would ever be able to tell me that this was gluten-free, I would not believe it if I hadn't made it myself. It is so soft on the inside. It's just divine, you guys. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a chance to try it out soon. And I am so excited to hear from you what you think. So enjoy.